Hey guys, I know a lot of you have talked about wanting to work on your push-ups while you have this time at home, and so I wanted to make a video about the proper form as well as lots of different ways that you can scale the push-up to make it a little bit easier as well as ways to make it harder. There's a lot of in-between options between just knee push-ups and regular RX push-ups. So we're going to go through that, and then I'm also going to go through some examples of how to get you to a one-arm push-up. All right. So for the first thing, in terms of proper form, a lot of times people have their hands either too close or too wide. So ideally what you're going to do is just line up your hands with your shoulders. You're going to press straight out and then slightly rotate the hands so that the index finger is pointing up to about 12 o'clock. All right. From here, you're going to make sure that your shoulders are engaged, so you're down and back here. You don't want to be really loose either way. Okay. First thing that we can work on in terms of our scaling options is just holding a nice tall plank. So what I mean by that, my hands will be underneath my shoulders, I'll be pressing up into this position, squeezing my core. Ideally, I want to try and hold this position for 2 minutes straight. Okay, so that would be a great goal to shoot for. Next one would be adding in some instability with some alternating shoulder taps. So I've got my hands set up, I widen my feet just a little bit, and I'm just going to come over, hold for a couple seconds, and then switch to the other side. So the idea is slow and controlled, hold for about 2 seconds, and develops a little bit more one-arm strength. From there, we're going to go into our walking planks. For our walking planks, definitely widen the feet if you need to for more stability. You're going to go down onto the elbow, other elbow, come back up, and then switch sides. For our next version, hands elevated. I like this version much better than a knee push-up because it gives you a full range of motion. I've got a box here. You could use a stool, a chair, some books that are equal size. So what you're going to do is just set up your hands on top of the box, nice plank position, go down and press up. Okay, so that's a really good option to work on getting to that eventual RX push-up. Our next one is going to be setting up in a plank, lowering down, and then using our knees to assist us up out of the bottom. So we get set up in my push-up position, I'm going to lower down, and then I'll drop my knees and use that to help press me up. That's another really great way to work on that eccentric strength, so going down nice and slowly, using the knees to help push you up out of the bottom position. Next, if you have some sort of band, we've got the Slingshot, or if you've got a band like this, maybe something a little bit thicker, just kind of double it up and then make sure it's above the elbows. Okay, from what this is gonna do is help to support you out of that bottom position, almost like a rubber band. That's another really good way, again, to get a full range push-up in. Next one would be working on holding at the bottom position, an isometric hold. So what I'm going to do is get set up, I'm going to lower down and then hover and just hold here for a few seconds and then press up. If I needed to, I could have dropped my knees and used my knees to press up out of the bottom. But again, holding that isometric position would just help to build more strength because we're increasing the amount of time under tension. Next one is basically our RX, so our push-up where our chest is going to touch the ground and we're just going to press straight up. Next one will be a little bit harder because we're going to add in some tempo now. So I'm going to take 2 seconds to lower down, I'm going to hold for 2 seconds, I'll take 2 seconds to come back up, and then I'll hold at the top for 2. So I'm going to get set up here, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And you can vary the tempo. Maybe it's a 3-second eccentric, maybe it's 3 seconds to come up, maybe you only hold for a second in the bottom. You can definitely mix it up. Next one is going to be a decline. This is a really good scale if you're working on your handstand push-ups as well. So I'm just going to elevate my feet on top of the box, get set up, squeeze the butt, On the decline push-up, it's going to be harder to get your chest to touch because you've got your head in the way. So I would say just kind of aim for the nose to touch and then go ahead and press up out of the bottom position. Next one is called elevator push-ups, also called segmented push-ups, where I'm going to lower, pause, lower, pause, lower, pause. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the way back up. I'll set up in my plank, pause, 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 pause. Again, increasing the amount of time under tension, help build the muscles in the chest, triceps, and shoulders. You could also add a weight, wear a weight vest. If you're going to use a plate on your back, just make sure that you're placing it on the upper middle back area, never on your lower back, okay? If you have a friend with you, ask them to place it on your back once you get set up in your plank position. Next we're gonna go over is diamond push-ups. These are gonna hit the triceps a little bit more. So I'm just gonna put my hands together. Almost, I create more of a heart, but some people create more of a diamond if their thumbs are longer. From here, I'm gonna go all the way down and then press out. And again, that's just hitting that tricep a little bit more. Next one's gonna be called a Russian push-up. These are really great, especially if you're working on your muscle ups. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to lower down and then go to the triceps and then come back up. It's a little easier if you have a slider for your feet or if you have maybe socks on and you're on hardwood. So just one more time what that'll look like. So I'm gonna go down, go to the elbows, come back to that bottom position, and then press out. Next one is an explosive push-up. For this one, you don't necessarily have to clap your hands or touch your body. It could just be pressing up off the ground. So I'm gonna get set up here, go down. I could also do this from my knees to work on that explosive strength. Next couple are the hardest versions. They are to help prepare you eventually for that one-arm push-up. So the first one is called an archer push-up. What that's gonna be, I'm gonna have my hands out wide, I'm gonna go down to one side and then press up, okay? The other version is called a typewriter, where I'm gonna go down to one side, I'm gonna stay low, and then transfer my weight over to the other arm. So have the thumbs kind of pointed more towards 12 o'clock. And from here, I'm just gonna go to one side and then press out. Ideally, this other arm's not doing a lot of work, it's staying out straight. And then for the typewriter, I'm going to come down, stay low, and then press out. In terms of how to program these guys, so you have a couple of options. You could do this as an EMOM, so every minute on the minute. You could pair it with a lower body exercise like squats, deadlifts, so that way your upper body can rest while your lower body is working. Never want to work for the entire minute. I would say 30 to 40 seconds max. Other ways you can do it is typical kind of sets and reps. Maybe you do 5 sets of 5 reps with 30 to 90 seconds rest in between. You can also vary your rest periods. So if you're trying to build a lot of volume, maybe you have very short rest periods, 20 to 30 seconds. I do suggest that when you're training your push-ups, to take at least a day or 2 off in between your training sessions. Okay, so if you wanted to work on a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, that's totally fine, or maybe just Monday, Thursday, but just make sure you're giving your body some time to rest and repair the muscles that you're building. So guys, I hope this helps. If you have any questions, please let me know. Thanks.